And thank you for joining us today for Total Failure, episode 17 in John's Eclectic Photo Time Adventure Series. John, a seasoned photographer with a quiet soul and a relentless eye for beauty, often sought solace in the silence of forgotten places. That afternoon, beneath a pale June sky, he packed his gear for what he hoped would be a night of celestial perfection. The destination, Harris Cemetery, a long-forgotten resting place etched into a rise in the land 2 hours west of home. It had taken weeks of research, maps, and light pollution overlays to find just the right spot. The cemetery, founded in the 1870s, was rumored to be long abandoned, its iron gate rusting and its headstones tilted like tired sentinels. This was what John loved, the marriage of timeless earth and timeless sky. He imagined the arc of the Milky Way stretching from horizon to horizon, perhaps with the silhouette of an old headstone in the foreground, whispering history beneath the stars. As John followed the dirt road, winding through thickets of pine and scrub oak, the light dipped into the golden hour. His navigation system chirped its final direction before falling silent. There it was, the gate, hanging half off its hinge. He eased the car forward on the narrow trail and parked beside a crooked signpost. John stepped into silence, the kind you feel in your bones. Only the crunch of gravel underfoot answered his presence. He wandered the graveyard, his fingers grazing the cool stone of markers dated 1875, 1896, and 1904. He found a spot near two grand headstones, each about 5 feet tall, and began setting up. He mounted his two Canon R5 Mark II cameras on their tripods, both aimed southeast, where the galaxy would rise. Test shots followed, light adjustments were made, panoramas were captured, and then the wait began. A light mist rolled through, just as forecast, and John found a metal-roofed picnic table to sit beneath. There the patter of rain mixed with the hush of wind through trees. A gray bunny wandered into view, sitting quietly not 10 feet away, watching him. Its presence felt oddly personal, like an omen or a welcome. Then it turned, flicked its ears, and hopped away. As the sun sank, John captured two thunderheads on opposite horizons, their silhouettes lit by the last golden rays. Then darkness. True darkness. John, now relying only on his red headlamp, strolled through the graveyard. He noticed gentle glows across the lawn. Not fireflies, not yet. Candles. Battery-powered, censored, lit candles nestled on headstones, left by long-past decedents or caretakers. The flickering lights cast the stones in soft amber halos, hauntingly beautiful. But something else made him pause. A sharp, earthy scent. Skunk. It was recent. He gripped his monopod tighter, weighing the absurdity of trying to fight a skunk. Fight a skunk? No. Run? Absolutely. Back at the cameras, now safe from wildlife, hopefully, John set up his third, a Canon R6 Mark II, with a wide 24mm lens to capture a star trail over time. He began the exposures and waited in stillness, the stars blinking into brilliance above him. 2 hours passed. The sky had turned and shifted. The Milky Way had danced its celestial ballet. John packed up, his breath fogging in the cool early morning air, and drove back through the empty roads. He reached home just as the first light of dawn painted the eastern sky. He collapsed into bed. But as every photographer knows, The real story begins at the computer screen. Later that afternoon, coffee in hand, John opened the first raw files with excitement, which soon turned into dismay. Clouds, thin, high-altitude streaks, had crept into the shots, obscuring key portions of the galactic core. In others, the faint but ruinous glow of rural town 30 miles away had poured over the horizon, ruining his clean, dark sky. And then, the worst culprit, lightning bugs. At some point during the shoot, a swarm had filled the air, painting erratic yellow trails across the frames. They looked like descending comets, or worse, divine graffiti. One looked like a celestial sword striking a tombstone. Another carved through the panorama like a sickle blade. Then came the headlamp. Despite his care, John's red beam had made it into several exposures. In one frame, it lit the stone from below with such eerie clarity that it resembled a UFO abduction. A headstone bathed in crimson light, glowing like it had been zapped from the heavens. It was, in a technical sense, a complete disaster. 12 hours of planning, driving, waiting, and shooting, all undone by clouds, bugs, and his own human error. Frustration rose like bile. He leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, trying to suppress the urge to slam the desk. What a waste, he thought. And then something softened. He opened a folder from a previous trip, one taken in Utah, where the Milky Way had stretched unimpeded over ancient sandstone. He clicked through pristine images of stars circling petroglyphs, of light dancing across arches and rocks older than time. And he smiled. Perhaps Harris Cemetery had rejected his intrusion. Perhaps the dead had raised their hands to block the sky, or summon nature's little saboteurs. Or perhaps it was just a night when things went wrong. But even in failure, there had been something poetic. A graveyard flickering with ghostly lights. A bunny visitor. Thunderheads on the horizon. And the faint hum of eternity hanging in the air. He'd return one day, perhaps to a different cemetery or a different rise. A little wiser, a little more cautious with his lights, and maybe armed with bug repellent. For now, John saved a few of the ruined images, not for their beauty, but for their story. A story of mischief, mystery, and a reminder that even in the dark, you're never alone. And maybe, just maybe, the dead do not like being photographed under the stars. And thank you for watching Total Failure. Please join us next time for episode 18, Meadow. And presented here are several, but not all, of the photographs used in this presentation. This is to prove up that these are not AI-generated images. Thank you. And once again, we hope you enjoyed this episode 17 presentation of Total Failure. If you enjoyed this presentation, please consider subscribing and hit that like button. Thank you.